There was rapper Lecrae
I feel like I can't sleep. My legs, it's like adrenaline pulsating through my body.
and former TV host Sheila Walsh.
So I went from in the morning being co-host of the 700 Club, and by that evening I was in the locked ward of a psychiatric hospital.
Professed Christians openly talking about their mental health struggles.
Mental health doesn't discriminate.
Dr. Nee Addy has been having that conversation for a while.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Addy Hour.
The podcaster, Yale professor, and neuroscientist has made it his mission to show fellow Christians how science, mental health, and faith go hand in hand.
A lot of what we do in our research is trying to understand what happens in the brain during states of anxiety, states of depression. I've heard people say, okay, that really gave me more of a sense for why my loved one was acting this way.
Many Christians are finding ways to marry biblical concepts with things like treatment and therapy.
Scriptures like a bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. God is near to the brokenhearted.
Pastor's kid, Pisa Madi, says she grew up knowing all the right verses until college.
I had my own experiences with anxiety. I had my own experiences with, mild depression, and that stemming from disconnection and just to put it plainly, a lot of bullying.
She turned that experience into a career as a psych professor at a Christian university.
How do we use scripture? How do we use prayer if that's what people want to do? But also, how do we just manifest and do our best to look at spiritual wellness as a dimension that is crucial in wellness?
Psychiatrist Arkandria Owens says she was once told her faith was a liability in psychology. Now she uses biblical concepts as a tool.
Our brains are so cued in to looking at what's wrong in the world because we need to be able to predict how to protect ourselves. And so the spiritual practice of gratitude, really looking for what's good, changes the brain.
All three say they're encouraged to see a greater acceptance of mental health treatment, pointing to the pandemic as well as deaths by suicide among faith leaders as major turning points.
30-year-old megachurch pastor Jared Wilson has died by suicide.
According to a Lifeway research study, 26% of Protestant pastors say they are dealing with their own mental health struggles.
Even when you have faith, even when you lean into prayer, even when you're a leader, even when you're doing all the right things, there's something that we're still not exempt from.
Addy says more pastors are opening up about their challenges.
This is someone that I look up to that as a leader who's saying that they're working through that they're working through it with prayer, but they're also working through it with counseling.
The first line of defense in the mental health battle for many communities are pastors. A Rice University survey of Black and Latino Christians found that most would pray or seek counsel from a pastor if in the midst of a mental health crisis. The Department of Health and Human Services has partnered with churches to make sure leaders have the tools they need, including serving as a branch to mental health professionals.
You don't stop believing in God when you need your healing. You don't stop believing in God because you're seeking a specialist. It all can work together.
Amber Strong, Newsy, Washington.